know what's coming, and if it's something you're interested in, just let us know. And also working on kind of getting a call it a sundry shop running of wood turning needs that you guys might have that we don't currently carry, because we cater a lot to the contractors right now, with about 85% of our sales going towards contractors. About 10% go to the let's say the automotive and fab shops, and then 5% is the wood turners. So be happy to work with you and make sure that you guys know it's here and be available when you come out on Sundays. But thank you guys for coming. Always look forward to the event. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, Jack, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. One of our founding members, Craig Smith, talked to me today. He's going to be selling all of his tools he's collected for years and doing wood turning. It'll be sometime in June. He's going to get with me, and he's going to go and get prices and things like that. When he's ready, I'll be posting it on the Facebook site to us, and you can make contact with them. In the meantime, he's not got his prices yet, but shortly he will, and that's when I'll announce it to the membership there, and you can get with him. He decided enough is enough. So shortly there'll be, he's got a lathe, he's got a bandsaw, he's got everything. So look forward next month, put some money away for that.
Is Chuck here today? Chuck, could you come up and talk to us about the AAW symposium? Yes, I am.
And he got his cookie down.
I know. Here, you can hold that. Oh, thank you.
I'll watch it.
So how many people are planning on going to the AAW? Okay. Are you registered?
Yes.
Are you registered? No? Okay. So right now it's in Chattanooga. I don't remember the exact dates. I leave on the 17th. So
It's the 24th or 26th, I believe.
So they have roughly 50 rotations right now. The only person who I don't think is going to be there this year is Glenn Lucas, because of traveling out of Ireland. But I think pretty sure everyone else is going to be there that's normally there. There's going to be a lot of good demos. Chattanooga is a really, really fun place. They're going to have tour stuff going on and things like that. So we encourage you to register before all the hotels book up. Right now, most of the hotel space that was reserved has been booked up, but not as many registrations. So.
All right.
So I hope everyone goes. It's going to be, the trade show is going to have the same vendors as always, so bring your money. Robust, Doug Thompson, Christian from Woodturners Wonders, etc.
I have a question. If you happen to show up, and can you get into the trade show without having to buy a pass to get into the symposium itself?
You can get in the trade show and the instant gallery without paying.
Super.
So if you want to save some money and not see demos and go spend a lot of money, that's the way to do it.
All right, thank you. So everybody get your calendars out. We have on our picnic is Sunday the 12th. Then I don't hear myself now.
You're good. You're good. You're coming through.
Okay, that's great. On we're going to start up workshops. Now that we've got the lathes here, we're going to start workshops again. And our first workshop is going to be Saturday, July 12th. Oh no, excuse me, July 23rd. So what we've decided to do is we're always going to have our workshops on the Saturday after our Sunday meeting. So the first workshop is going to be put on by Ben Shipman, assisted by Alfred, and they're going to be doing pens. And then in August and September, we'll also have workshops. We just haven't decided what they're going to be yet. we're trying to gear these more towards our beginners and those that want to learn through hands-on. So put that on your calendars. Also, we're going to have our Detroit area wood turning symposium on Saturday, October 8th from 9 until 4 at the Methodist Church out on Highland Road where we used to meet. So that should be a good time. We have, we're going to have 16 rotations of demonstrators, 4 rotations or 4 demonstrations per rotation. We'll have 2 rotations before lunch. We'll have lunch. Then we'll have 2 rotations after lunch. So I think it's going to be a great time for all. So plan on coming out. Cost is going to be nominal. What we haven't finalized it yet, but we're thinking 30-ish, 35. You know, it's not, we're not going to be making any money this time around. We're going to be dipping into our excess. So we just want to see if we can get it, if we can do it and present it at a reasonable cost and figure out if we want to do it again next time. Our club, yes.
You're demonstrating, what does that do to the cost of getting in?
It doubles it, Matt.
So for our club has mentors, and currently we have 2 mentors, Paul Zirkle and Chris Miller. Paul, can you stand up? Because Chris isn't here today. He's probably out shooting, because that's his other passion. So if anybody wants to improve their skills, look up Paul, give him a call, set up something between the 2 of you, and he'll be happy to help you improve your skills. So are there any announcements that anyone from the general body wants to bring up? Ollie.
As was demonstrated last time, if we don't have demoers, you're stuck with me, and we don't want that to ever happen again. So I still need a demoer for August, and I'm going forward. So if you have any interest in showing off some of your skills or showing something unique you'd like to do, please come talk to me, and we'll get you signed up. Trust me, if I can do it, then you can do it. Or if I can almost do it, you can do it. So just come and let me know.
That's on here.
Oh, sorry.
I'm communicating with.
The second thing is that for the picnic, I already sent out a mail telling you that I needed help with setup and tear down. Still would love to see some more people show up for that, but I need 2 people to run grills. We have 2 grills running, and if anybody wants to run a grill, I know that I love running the grills because A, it makes it so I don't have to talk to anybody, and B, I have power because I control the food. So if you like to have that kind of power.
Stuck here with them then.
Okay, I stand corrected. I still need 2 people to run grills. So please let me know. Thank you.
What about food?
I thought according to the.
Yeah, I know. You're going to provide the meat, but what's everybody else going to provide? They need to know. We haven't told them.
He's new at this.
Yeah, I thought it. I'm sorry. Yeah, bring something to pack. So bring them something to put on a table. People can grab a little something from. Bring a dish. Bring a dish. Thank you.
You want to keep some of that for our audience at home?
So we forgot. We have a microphone, but we forgot to give it to Ollie because our brains are still not totally here. So what he said was that for the picnic, those that are coming to please bring a dish. We also need volunteers to help man the grill and also to do setup and cleanup. If you have a desire, please contact Ollie. If not, you're going to be delegated. Yep. Voluntold, that's it. So at this point, we would like to turn the time over to Chuck for our treasurer's report. And he's looking for it in his bag.
Somebody's asking where's the picnic?
The picnic is at Chuck's place on Orchard Lake Road between 11 and 12, isn't it?
11 and 696.
Yeah, 11 and 696 on the east side.
Chuck, give me a favor and stand in front of the camera.
Oh,
We want to see, what happened, everybody wants to see that face.
No, no one wants to see it.
Is
that better?
Behind the name.
Oh,
Picky, right?
yeah. Is that better?
Professional organization.
We tried. So right now we have 13, as of the end of April, we have $13,879 in the bank. For the year, we've collected $3,195 in income, $2,510 of which is dues. And we've spent $39,7216, so we're down right now $777. So spend more money on the door prizes because that's way down from last year. So good, thank you.
Now it's the time for a safety chat. Ray, do you want to come up and talk to us about shop safety?
I had to do it after my accident.
Tales from the dark side.
Lesson you learned here, don't hurt yourself. You don't have to talk about it.
This is gonna be long, I brought my coffee.
Go behind the lathe if you can do it without cutting yourself.
Don't turn it on.
They're vicious.
See, I did it. I got behind the lathe, didn't cut myself.
There you go.
But I just, you just got to be careful in the shop all the time. Stuff will sneak up on you. With me, I was working on a knife out there, and I had the 2 wood handles that go on the knife, and one hole was too small. So I'd already sharpened it. My knives are razor sharp, and I walked over there and put it on a drill press and pulled the handle down. I got a catch, and off it came, and it got me. Gosh, once here, this one's really bad, and then once right underneath it, and once across the thumb, and it got me on this side. And I just looked, I said, you stupid idiot. I just, why I got at least 80 clamps right above my drill press. I could have put any one on there and it would have been, would have taken probably 10 seconds and didn't do it. So then my next smart thing I did was there was some paper towels up there. So I wrapped the paper towels around. I said, man, I got to get to the hospital. So then I started out of there, and I remember that knife, and I looked at the drill press, and they didn't see the knife, and I said, so anyhow, I got in the house, and I got a bath towel, and I wrapped that around. That's pretty good. And I thought, well, shoot, I can make it. So I jumped in my truck, and I took off, and I got down to just before Pontiac, and my legs were really cold, and I looked down at them. And I mean, I am covered in blood. They're just soaked. And I said, Ray, you screwed up, I'm telling myself. And I just put the pedal to the metal and drove about 80 miles an hour through Pontiac. That was my next stupid thing to do. And I made it. And I parked at St. Joe's. And I walked in, and the guy says, can I help you? And I put my hand out. And he must have hit a button because they just came from all sides. And all of a sudden, I'm standing there with no clothes on. They just struck me. In the hallway, and they got gowns and stuff, and it was just a stupid thing to do. It just screwed a whole month and a half up, just gosh, I can't. And then another thing, when I took off, my cell phone was at home in the garage, so I can't call my wife, so I'm up there by myself. So I get the nurse and I get her phone. So, of course, I call her phone, and she's in Detroit at Henry Ford Hospital with my son-in-law. So she sees that number. I don't know him. So she's. So I called again. And she does the same thing. She didn't know, she didn't answer that call. And so then I thought, well, I'll try my son-in-law. So I tried him and I let it ring and ring, and finally the operator came over from Henry Ford up there, and I told her what the deal was, and she got the ball rolling, and everything worked pretty good after that. So, but it was a trip. So,
How many stitches?
huh?
How many stitches?
I don't know, probably maybe 60. Yeah, it was just all inside. They sewed it and then they just came out, you know. And yeah, it was and then my wife got there. And my wife is always, she's been the head ER. She's a head nurse, you know, she's the head running the place. And she took over the ER. She did. She said, why isn't this on? Why isn't this on? How come that light don't work? And she just answered everybody. And pretty soon things went really quick. So anyhow, thank you guys. And that's my story. You got any questions? Don't do like I did. Yeah. Greg?
Yeah, not a question, but a comment, because the same thing happened to me, except it was a big log, and I had a Forstner bit, and I was drilling it on the drill press.
Uh-huh.
First I spun around. And they're my stitches. But the key is that how many people here, if you have a drill press vise, you have to have a bolt at all times going into your table, no clamp. You never turn the drill press on without that bolt. Doesn't have to be tight, just has to drop through the table so it can't spin on you.
Yep. Yep.
It's a real easy add-on to your drill press.
Yep, for sure.
Vise. It's just a bolt that goes through some hole in the table.
Yep.
To keep it from spinning.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you very much. There you go. Punch. You look like a mic.
So at this point, we are going to turn the time over to Paul Neuburger, who's going to show us how to make a music box.
With that mic.
Yes.
If you like, in the evening, usually on Sunday, I put all these photos on Facebook, on our Facebook site. So if you're looking for them, join the Facebook site, that's where they'll be.
It's going to be up here.
Okay, can everybody hear okay? All right, this is my 6th demo, and I'm gonna make it a little different this time. First of all, I usually start my demos off with a really bad joke. I ain't got nothing today, so I'm sparing all of you. This is a real simple demo. It's basically building a box, making a box, cutting a slot in it, and making a music chain, a hollow lid so that you get a decent tone out of it. It's going to be interactive. So who here has never, ever been up here doing a demo? Raise your hands. Seriously, raise your hands if you've never been up here.
Let me write their names down.
Okay, because I'm going to pick on 3 or 4 of you, and you're coming up to be part of the demo. It's not hard, trust me. All right, basically, let me just start off with what we got. We got music boxes, and all it is a lidded box. It's got a little cut in it and a musical instrument. And it plays.
It's all made out of wood.
It's all wood. So, and there's a couple of things that I learned in making these things that was quite interesting. The deeper the top of the lid is, the better the sound. You put a design on the inside of it, you muffle the sound.
Really?
Yep, it changes the tone. I don't know why, but it just seems to do that. It sounds, and so who is my first victim for interactive? Come on, Zirkle, get up here. All right. This box, I'm just gonna crank it. You can stand right there, Paul. Lift the top off. You can hear the tone change. Put the lid back on. What happens is you're creating a nice sound. Things. So what you're doing is you're creating a sound chamber with these things and making it quite a bit more acoustic. This particular piece of wood, boy, this was fun. This was a piece of mango tree that my brother sent me, and it was quite quite soft and punky, but it's an interesting thing to do. The mechanisms, you can get them all over on the internet. eBay, you're going to spend $6 to $10 for them. On eBay, you're looking at up to a month to get them. There's a local place you can get them. Jack's got the information. I'll get it to Jack and he can put it online. But you're paying $10 shipping for them, and they're $10 a pop. So anyway, to start off with, I just start off with this, and I like to do them end grain, but you can do them face grain too. Doesn't matter. So this is nothing more than loose in here, just chucked up tight to the jaws, and I'm going to turn it very simply that way. I'm just going to put a tenon on one side, and then put it in the jaws, and then turn it around. There's two ways, or a number of different ways you can put the slot in these things. I found the easiest way is to do it right on the lathe, but in that case, you need a large tenon. So you need to be almost as deep as the jaws to do that, because when you go to turn that slot in there, you're going to tilt it over. If you've only got 1/8 of an inch or less, you're going to fight yourself with it. So this one I'm going to turn with a large, and then I have some samples here that don't have a large, and something that I use to make it work. So I'm going to do this. We're all set. I'm going to check to see there. And I just use any bowl gouge to turn that. Well, not even, again, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a tenon on the end, and I'm going to do a fairly large tenon.
Oh, you got that step key up there.
It's not going in there. And this tenon is going to be almost as deep as the top. And hopefully that's got it. It's small enough. I can do this. Maybe not. Let me try. That was the one thing I did forget, is my little gauge for tenon. But now you're going to have a lot more wobble in this thing, because this was nothing was necessarily straight when I started this thing. So now the next thing I usually will do is I'll knock the corners off a little bit more, and then I'm going to end up drilling a hole. But I'll tell you, I can do it 2 different ways, and so I'm going to show you both ways at the same time. This I'm going to eat this there. So. I usually will turn away from the chuck, so I don't end up throwing my tool into it. We're close enough. Yeah, well, not quite round. Oh, I forgot we had it set on the higher side. I usually have turned this around 12, 1300. And I just should take care of all of the wobbles. It should be relatively straight. Still got a little bit over there. Let's see how close we are. I think we're good enough. So there's a couple of things you can do if you don't have a big enough drill bit, Forstner bit to do this. I just run the center in, so I know where my center is. I have a compass around here someplace, and I will draw my circle. And that circle is 2 3/8, give or take. You can go as small as 2.5 or 2 1/4. It's tight to get the music box in there. 2 3/16 is perfect. 2 3/8 gives you plenty of room. So I'm going to drill. Oh no, I'm not. I messed up already. Son of a gun. I got to know how. I got to cut this off. That's what I got to do. So the bottom of my box is going to be roughly 1/8 of an inch. I messed up. And the box should be about 1 1/4 inch, 1 5/8, 1 1/4 inch, 3/8 tall, somewhere in that general range. So right about here, I'm going to part it off and cut it off, part it off. And then we'll put the hole in it. Well, it would have been a nice mistake. Although I got plenty of goof up pieces here, so I keep forgetting we don't have it. So we'll just part this off.
After you cart it up.
Good question. You know what? I am really messing this up today. I need a timer on this end. Good question. Thank you. Again, I got plenty of started pieces here. And you don't need a real deep tenon on this side. And again, normally I would be turning with a dust mask on. And at this point, I move my tool rest out of the way because I've learned one thing. I am going to hit the saw on the tool rest.
Is that correct?
Pardon?
You're making the lid. Is that
This is going to be the lid. This is the body. The lid is coming off. The body is staying on. The lid has arrived.
It's taken a fall for you.
Thank you. I now have a new comedian. All right, so again, we would just put the center in there, draw a circle, but we don't have to because I'm going to drill. And I'm not going to drill the whole depth because I'm going to do what I would have to do at the bottom. So with the Forstner bit, you've got about 1/4 of an inch sticking up. So you would want to come down so that you're about 1/8 of an inch off the bottom at the point. We're not going down that far. So just
What size is that for?
this one happens to be 2 3/8. 2 1/4 works, but I would open it up just a little bit because you can get the mechanism in. You can get the mechanism in, but you're gonna fight like a dog. That little bit is enough. And I may have to change the belts because of the Forstner bit. I may not have enough torque,
My run is pretty good.
but I'm not gonna go that far.
Let's go in and out. All right, that's for sure.
I'm gonna change it. It's too much, not worth fighting. We're not gonna go that far. We're gonna go about a 1/2 inch deep. We gotta get this down to 1 1/8 inches to get the mechanism in there. Here we go. It has to be about 1 1/8 inches deep in order to get the mechanism in and hide the lid, get the lid in there. Somebody's got a phone ringing. So I'm only going to go in about a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4. So I'm about 3/4 of an inch plus 1/4 of an inch down for the tip. I know I have to get a lot deeper than that. Take out this so we don't end up hitting ourselves with it. One of the ways I've done this is I like using my round nose scraper to do this. It seems to work very easily. And then I'll end up going in reverse and cleaning it up. Want to be a lid. Oh, there's not much. I think I'm about the right depth. I'm not sure, but I'm close. Nope, I got another good 1/4 inch to go. But now that I'm on the lower speed, I just crank it all the way up. It's about 1200. Then we'll check the depth again. I want to make sure that we're getting down deep enough that we can get this box. I can go down another 1/8 of an inch. This happens to be elm. I like elm. It smells great to me. It works great. Good. I'm about 3/16. That's good enough for right now, because I know I'm going to end up getting a little bit deeper. I've got a box, one of these Spray first. And that sun works quite well. If you don't have one, how are you gonna do it? Most of us have one of these diamond tools. That works pretty good. And if you have a lathe that will run in reverse, make sure you put that set screw in onto the shaft so you don't unscrew your chuck. Ask me how I know.
How do you know?
I just know. All right. Yeah, I just know that you have to. Okay, so we're gonna run this in reverse. Because I can see inside of here a lot easier. And I'm running. And I'm pretty close to being flat, but I'm not sure it's flat yet. So we're going to take out the most expensive square you can own. Credit card or a key card to the Ritz-Carlton. So you can check that to see if you're flat by holding it there. And you can see if you're still square by holding, and I've got a round bottom at the very corners. Again, you can play with it that way. I have turned where I'll put my tool rest in there, drop it down a little bit. And can't guarantee I'm going to do this every time, but it seems to work. I knew I was going to do that. Yep, nice big cut. And that's it for this piece. I don't want to make it bigger, because if you make the slot bigger, we could make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, I could make it a tad bigger. Oh well, we'll just go down.
Where did it grab for? On the side?
Yeah, I caught it on the side. It's kind of hard to get the tool rest in, or the tool in there sometimes, but so we'll just clean it up, and I'm going to still go down with my, not this one, where's this? And I'm going to go down forward. I think most of it's gone. So now the other thing is you got to make sure too that everything is straight. That you don't have it coming down like this to the base, or going the other way. The sides have to be parallel to each other and square to the bottom.
Aesthetics, or is there a real reason for it?
Well, I'll tell you. I went to put one in and I had it a slight taper, and I went to crank it and it couldn't get the crank around. So if I had done it the other way, I wouldn't have been able to get the crank around from the bottom. So, and again, you might be able to get by with it 1 or 2 degrees. I tried, I think, about 6 or 7 degrees. It did not work. So I'm saying the best thing to do is be straight and square, and it seems to work pretty well. So that appears to be pretty good right there. I did bring a pair of calipers, and that's how I've been checking to see whether or not I'm parallel. is making sure I'm hitting a round spot, because I do have one spot that's still not round. And just, there's one little bump, but I'm okay with that little bump. I think I'm okay with that little bump. So basically, at this point, I would be sanding the inside. I'm not doing any sanding here today. There might be one little exception, but I'm not going to do much sanding. And now I'm just going to basically shear cut this to get it nice and smooth and clean it up so that I can work on the lid. I might take a couple more cuts off of it. I'm going to take one more cut off just so I don't have as much. I probably should have had the fill rest a little lower. We need a little lower. I want to get the walls about 1/8 of an inch thick. I gotta take it off. Not a good cut that time, trust me. That was bad. Really a bad cut. I will get it cleaned up. All right, look good. So at this point, it would be sanded. I got a lot of chips in here. I don't really care. It's not going to be one that's permanent. But I could have left a little lip at the bottom if I wanted to.
Pass that around.
It's on the top. From the top.
Oh, I'm
Top
okay.
camera.
Yeah, you can pass this one around.
It's 2 pieces.
2 pieces, but I can make a lip on the top and the bottom and whatnot. So the next thing we want to do is know where that bottom is and mark it with a pencil. Because that's going to be determined where you're going to start to cut that little mouth for the noise, the sound to come out. Again, how did I learn this trick? Trust me, I learned it because I made more mistakes than I could count. You don't need to put the blue tape on here. It sure makes life a lot easier. The blue tape is right at the mark where the bottom is. So when I cut this, I am going to make sure that I'm cutting into the blue area. Again, you don't need to put tape it. I guarantee you, if you did 10 of them, you're going to cut into the bottom on one. It happens. So to cut that slot for the sound to come out, I'm going to loosen the chuck, and we're going to just tilt this. So it's almost all the way out. Tighten it up. And now you're doing an offset turn. Really as simple as that. This, I would definitely tell you, when you're doing this, sneak up on it, do it very carefully. And you want, in this case, again, I'm going to hit on that blue tape. Now don't hit on that blue tape. I can run into the bottom, or I could run into the top. Neither of which you want to do. And it's just a matter of, now if you look at it on the camera, that 3/4 of an inch wide piece of tape now looks like it's maybe 3/8. You know where you're going to hit, right? Because you got that ghosting of the other tape. And I'm just cutting. And then I'm turning the tool around the opposite way. And you're just back and forth on it. Finding that double. This little piece of tape is coming off if you've been slicing. And I'm through the wall, but I'm not happy with this yet.
Hey, Ford, are you cutting a V or a flat on one side and an angle on the other?
I'm pretty much a V.
A V,
Yeah.
okay,
I'm going in almost closed.
okay.
Again, you could open it up a little bit, but I think you get a better cut if you are almost totally closed.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's good. It needs a little bit of cleaning up on the other side. Again, you're going to play with this a little bit. So now you've got this V cut into it. Again, if you'd be sanding it long ago, I'm not going to sand anything here. So now there's a, I'm going to take this one out. I'm still working backwards since I'm.
Yeah.
So at this point, you would be starting to take the tenon off. But we're going to leave that on for right now. We're going to do. This was one I screwed up. I made the box too small. So I put it between two blocks of wood. And need another person who has never demoed here before to come on up. Come on, don't be afraid. This is really simple. All you have to use is a saw. Come on, who hasn't done something?
Okay, I'll help you.
I wasn't going to put you in the spot, Chad.
Jeez.
All right. Really simple. You don't want to put a, don't want to turn on a different axis. Put a saw cut any place, yeah.
Any place.
Yeah, right in here. Any place.
Somebody in half here,
Not on the lathe.
right there.
Yep, that's good. And go good till you're through.
Oh,
Till
it's on through?
till you're through the wood. Yep.
All right.
Hey, the chainsaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a chainsaw, Jack.
There's nothing inside there. I'm cutting in
Nothing.
half,
There's
is there?
nothing inside of that one.
Okay, just about through.
That's good enough.
That's good.
All right, now because you want to widen it up, you can take a file and just cut it on an angle. Hold it on an angle, and you got one. So those who don't want to turn that way, it's an alternative. Good enough. Perfect. All right, need one more victim. Come on, don't be shy. All right. Basically, what I want you guys to figure out is this is not a big deal. All right, this one you're going to cut straight down, and then I want you to cut on an angle just to cut a little V in here. And don't worry about it. This is garbage anyway. Thanks, Ron. So go straight down, so you cut through. A little bit more. Okay, now go up the other side and cut a V. So if you don't want to do the offset turn, that's another way of doing it. And then you can clean it up. Simple enough. Perfect. Look at that. He's a master carpenter.
Demos are easy.
All right. Another way, if you really, oh, plug the blue gun in.
You pass that around?
Where, no. Yeah, I'll take this apart first. There's alcohol.
That's that CA glue, is it?
Yeah, Jack, put your hands on this. No, it's alcohol. Okay. It'll just pop apart. Okay. If you get me some on the other side too.
Hey, Paul,
Yeah.
wanna
You
tell them
need-
why you're using that?
So the denatured alcohol or isopropyl alcohol will soften the hot glue, and it just peels right off. I learned that trick from flighttest.com, and then the other thing, I think this one is going to work. So again, if you don't want to turn, by turning the piece cockeyed, I made this little jig. It's a 2 3/8 diameter piece in here, and it will turn. Unfortunately, I'm going to glue it back on. But you can put that in the lathe, put your hot glue that on there, turn your group, turn your slot in here, and you're good. I was going to do it, but now this is turning again, so I'm not going to fool with it.
How did you hold it in there? Is that screws?
Well, it's a screw, but yeah, it's a single screw in it.
Oh.
And I only wanted a single screw in here, and if I hold it with anything, it'll be hot glue, because this is going to get chewed up and you need to replace it. So again, it's just the way I want it. I want to do. And again, if you don't want to turn it off center like that, to me, it's easier to just turn it off center. So then the next thing we need to do is make the top to this little beauty. And so when you're not working at home where you keep everything generally where you want it, it makes it a little harder to do. So you don't want to chuck you place it. Take it down. Guard back on here. Almost did a ray there. Raise my butt, I can tease him.
You can see that part.
I can't with these glasses, trust me. All right, so the top is nothing more than a fitted top, just like we would do if for any kind of a box. I will put the tenon on this side so that it goes inside the box. And I almost always go way too far when I do this. And I don't really want a real deep tenon on this. And I've already know I went too far. Yep, I did. Told you I would. I do it every time I make these. Yeah. Oh, I had a lot. I didn't have that much slop. Perfect. Perfect.
From the crowd.
Yeah, we know how to do this. We know how to do this. We still got to take the tenon off of that bad boy. So now we want to make a deep bowl inside of here so that we can get the sound chamber to work. And again, I usually, the round nose scraper seems to work really well for this. Well, No.
A4, is that a negative rake or straight?
It's just straight. I want to get a lip on the inside of this so I can grab it again later. Well, that's not the one. Let's see. I don't want that whole lip there anymore. That was all too deep, too much. And I want to be below, deeper than, I want to be deeper than that lip that I have for the, so that I don't end up, when I tighten the jaws on it to get it back in, I don't want to end up breaking that ring off of it. So I need to be a little bit deeper than, and now I'm deeper than that, I'm good. Then we're going to go with the round nose scraper. Wherever I put that one. And we're just gonna hollow it out. We get a fairly deep lid, almost come out the top, almost. And I just do it with a rotating motion. So I'm gonna get a dome. At some point, leverage is going to overtake me. I'm going to have to move the tool rest again. And I don't want to go past too far over because I want my jaws to still rest on that one piece on the lid. And that, I don't think that's quite deep enough, as he says, as he goes to the top. Again, I know I can go a lot deeper than that. Oh yeah, I got a long ways to go. We can go quite a bit deeper than that. And again, you could drill a hole down so you know how deep to go too. I always try to do these as minimally as possible. Use the least amount of tools. We'll see how deep we are now. I think I'm pretty good. I got a nice little bowl in here. I'm right to the end of this. Perfect. So now we'll turn this around and shape the so we'll close the jaws down, make them expand into this, and hopefully I did it right. Yes, I did, barely, but it's there.
Hey, can you show that to the camera so people can understand what you did?
So basically what I did.
Give him the overhead so he can see it.
Okay. So I got the lid where it's going to fit on, and I left. Get a pencil because it's easier to see.
Push it out about 6 inches towards us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got this rim flat. I am deeper here than I am here, so that when I push against the jaws, I'm pushing against all of the wood, not just this rim. And this is flat, so my jaws have something to sit on. And this goes down almost to the top of that. The deeper you go, the better the sound is gonna be. I got lucky because I just barely got this on. And again, you don't need a ton of pressure holding this. You just want to make it fit.
So before you cut that tenon off, how are you gonna size the top to the base?
It's already fit. Like this.
No, the outside,
This tenon?
no. Put it on there.
No,
The diameter.
The diameter of the
Put the
lid
top
to
on
the
there.
diameter of the base.
they're talking about the outside diameter, top and bottom.
I've already got the piece that's fitting here.
It's already fitted.
It's already fitted.
Okay,
This is already fitted.
Outside.
and how are you gonna hold it so that you can take your tenon off the base?
I'll show you. That's
All
the
right,
next
thank
thing. That's a few steps. I did it backwards. But it's okay. It all comes together. I know I'm a little high on this. One of the things I like is the lid to be slightly larger than the size of the base, so you can take it off easily. And at this point, I got that pretty well taken care of. I'm gonna pretty much put a small OG into this thing. And that usually works without going through the top, usually. Yeah, this one's gonna be a dome. Oh, well. Or a flying saucer. Again, for a demo, I'm not trying to finish anything. I'm not trying to sand anything. Don't want to, doesn't need to be done. So that'll fit on top of here. And I made it too small. Smaller than I wanted. It's all right. So now you're asking, how do you take this and clean it up? Open your jaws so you can get an X-Acto blade in there. Three wraps of tape on the jaws. That's one. That's two. And try not to get it on the back side of the jaws, the face of the jaws, because you'll end up with it being off center. Again, ask me how I know. I just know these things, guys. I just know. You can unplug the boot. So then I just simply cut off some of this tape because I don't need it, but I'm still beyond the edge of the jaws. Because that's just going inside the box anyway. Then carefully, or not carefully, cut your tape. You have 3 layers on. I have not been able to leave a mark on the inside of this. Expand your jaws, but don't expand them very fast and very hard. Again, ask me how I know. I just know these things. It's barely on there, barely. You got it. I'll take the strapping tape. strapping tape and I will put it on my piece. And I will go at least twice around, if not 3 times around. And if it's barely on there like this, you can turn your piece and turn the tape on there. Exacto knife. And if you're really good, you can make a little tiny tab here so you can get the tape off a lot easier. Who cares if it's flapping? Now you've got quite a bit of strength holding that on there. And as you expand, you're not going to hurt it. And again, I'm barely, it's not going to turn on me. At this point, I do generally put the tailstock support in here because it's going to fly. It could fly off then. Is it going to? I doubt it seriously. I put it on. Again, you can't put a ton of pressure on this because you got that slot in here for the sound to come out. You can actually crush this thing. So you just really kind of there for support. And then just cut it off. You can either, I like using my small bullseye for this. And gentle, small cuts. And at this point, you're just going to very gently cut and remove this thing. You are going to check to make sure you're flat. And I got a little bit of a high spot on there, so I know I got to get a little bit more off. And here you're going to have to be a lot more gentle because you don't have the support. And you do have that little slot there. And you could cut it with a saw if you wanted to. You can see. I know I've got a little bit of a high spot right about there, so I want to get rid of it. And again, we would be sanding at this point, which we're not doing today. And I'm going to make sure that it is flat so I can get. I'm high in the center, quite a bit higher in the center. You need to get rid of that. Perfect. Good enough. Again, you'd be sanding it, you're going to get it flat. So at this point, loosen it up before you crack it. And this, I think, did crack. You saw how easy it came off? real easy. There was almost no pressure holding this thing on. So I know somewhere I got that little slot. There it is. So there we got a completed piece. All we got to do is put in a mechanism. So what is this? So the thing we need to do now is, again, I know that the diameter of that shaft that comes out from the crank on the music box is under 1/4 of an inch. So I usually do a 17/64 hole to put that in there so I can get the mechanism in. Okay. So in order to get that mechanism in, we need to measure. Don't need this to cut myself with, which is the X-Acto knife. I'll put that away. Got a pin punch, and where did my little ruler go? So I need someone up here who has not done another demo. Come on, somebody. Never done a demo. Okay, Bruce, you got the next part.
I get the hard part.
Well, you get the second from, I still need one more person. So we need to come up 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, run around. And we got to punch a hole in here. So right there, I'm at 1 1/8. So I'm going to measure up, put this at 1 1/8. So 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. So now the mechanism, bottom of my box is there. 3/4 of an inch, so right about here, we're going to drill a hole. So before we drill a hole, we want to put a punch in there. So go ahead and put the center punch in. Actually, let's put it on here so that we don't end up not punching through. So go ahead and punch. Push down, it'll click.
We fund it back.
That's good enough. He's got it in there. So now I learned one thing is you want to back this up. And if you don't back it up, you will end up with, there's a garbage can, start over. And you're going to drill my hole. So he's just going to drill the hole straight down onto the. You're not in that. Nope, you're not on it. You're close. There you go. That's okay. Good. Good. Perfect. So now I got a hole in here to get my crank through. Want to stay and do the rest of this?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Oh, I took a picture of that music box I was
Yep.
gonna put online tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the company that,
That's not where I got those from. I got them from on eBay,
okay,
but you had to buy a lot of them to get them at that price that I got them.
Does that have a spring where it will continue to play after you wind it up or not?
There is no wind up.
Do they make them that size
You already
that would
wind
fit with a spring ring wind up so that you could just set it? like
You can buy them. I have not played with them. So then the next thing you want to do is just thread this thing through and set it in there. Now, don't set it in the center because you're going to end up hitting the crank on the wall. That's another thing I learned. You know, it's terrible what you can learn the hard way. Okay, so I'm going to get the drill back. And well, this wasn't a smart place to put them since I need these screws. There we go. So we're going to drill this with a 1/16 inch hole and then re-drill it with a countersink. So I position this. got the drill bit out quite a way so I can get it into where it's got to go. So you're going to just drill through the holes.
You gonna
So
hold
you
it?
Nope, I'm
position
gonna-
so that the crank goes all the way around now?
Yep. Yep.
All the way through, right?
Yep, all the way through. Good enough. Now, the one over here. See that one? Whoops, okay, go ahead.
It moved. yeah.
That's fine, let's just say, we're good.
Okay.
Okay. And then there's one more near my finger, right down here. Yep. Dang, we got holes in the bottom now, perfect.
It's Sunday, why not? It's a holy day.
That's right. So we'll take the drill bit out. We got to countersink them so we can get the screws in. And you can just, if you push too hard on this, you can collapse it again, so be very careful. And you just want to countersink them so you can get those screws in there. And it's got to go all the way through to the countersink. Yep. All the way through. We got to go to the countersink. Keep on going. Perfect. And then do the other ones. Be good. And one more. That should be. That should be good. We're just going to take one of the screws and put it in upside down so we can see if we got the hole that's deep enough. That one could be a little bit deeper. And I think that that was good. And that's it. Now it's just a matter of putting this thing through this music and then screwing it down. So we got it in there. We'll just put a couple of screws in here. And then we'll see how it sounds, because I don't know if you heard it before, but it doesn't have a lot of resonance. It'll have quite a bit more. No, it did. Didn't it? It's true. It's got a long ways to go on this. Oh, I missed it. There it is.
That would make a difference.
Oh, these aren't quite long enough. I got longer ones at home. So anyway, I didn't quite make the box deep enough to make this work. That's my bad on that.
Is the bottom too thick? Is that what you're saying?
The bottom is too thick.
Well, you could fix that by counter screwing them deeper.
I could do that too. Matter of fact, I think we'll do that. I also have longer screws, but I didn't know how deep these were. But let's go ahead and we can, we'll just countersink them a little bit more. That's all. We'll just do that. I'll just take care of it. Don't worry. It's not in here. We're good, thanks. I'm good, thank you. We're good. Trust me, we're good.
I'm good, we're good.
We're good. Man, this is dull. Oh, you're going too far. I'll just use the longer screws when I get home. Or a different countersink. Because it's not going in very easily. So anyway, that's basically how I did it. If there are any questions?
I have one.
Answers are $9.95, incorrect ones are $10.95.
All right.
What would you like?
Well, relating to the question I had about, you know, a music box where it continues to play with a spring in it.
Mhm.
I envisioned when I first saw it, the first person that I made one for or who wanted to buy one says, can't you make it play like a music box, continuous with a spring?
Keep cranking.
Well, yeah, exactly. But you know how people can be when you're selling something, they always,
Well, you can get that, but it will be $10.
Right.
well, that's why I don't know. That's why I asked.
Yeah, they're about 20, 22 bucks. Is
Yeah.
what you do. And then you're gonna have to figure out a different way of doing it because they wind from the bottom. So you're gonna have, at least the ones that I've seen, you wind them from the bottom. So you gotta have a spot for the key to go in. And now you're gonna have to use much longer screws. I mean, it's a whole
It's a
different ballgame.
different-
Put feet on.
Yeah.
Or put feet on.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, but it's all a bunch of,
I know.
yeah. It all becomes a different set of.
Oh, yeah.
The first time I saw someone do this was in the Windsor group, the Windsor, Kent, Essex wood turning group. I thought it was an amazing little project. I showed it to Al and Jack and but just before the pandemic when we canceled doing everything. And
Do you finish those, Paul?
Hmm?
You put a finish on it?
I have. Some of them I put a finish on, some of them I just leave blank. I like it without the finish. I think it gives it a nice feel. But again, it's what you like. I mean, this one was finished. This one is finished. And
Do you think it makes a difference on the width of the slot there?
I think
You
it,
know, you have the air chamber on the top
Mhm.
and then the width of the slot.
But I think it has a lot more to do with the height of the box,
Yeah.
because this one is a deep box.
Yeah.
But it doesn't play as loud. Now, if I take this lid and put it on here, it doesn't change it much.
Yeah.
And yet, when I put it on a different box, it changes. I think the height has to be probably 1 1/8 to 1 1/4.
Yeah.
And if you get it much taller than that, like this one, the sound just doesn't come out.
The wood will make a difference.
And the wood also makes a difference. Sycamore works great.
Maple or mahogany would give you
Mhm.
a better sound, guitar sound.
You
Actually,
remember,
yeah.
you remember when we did the train whistles
Yes,
and we had that air chamber on the
Right.
top? That made a big difference how high, because all the air when you blow is going in there and there was.
then chambered out, yeah.
Have you experimented with slits on both sides rather than just?
Yeah, I do.
I haven't tried slits on 2 sides.
Yeah.
But you're gonna, if you did, you're gonna end up pretty weak structure.
Yeah.
Well, they'd have to be smaller, but
Mahogany would be a good wood.
Mahogany would be good. Sitka spruce, if you get it, would be excellent, because that's the harp on a piano. So if you can get it. But I've just had a lot of fun playing with these things.
the Zirkel's missing me, so can I get back?
Yeah, Zirkel's missing you. I'm sorry to hear that. But they're just a lot of fun to play with.
Yeah.
And you can get all these different music boxes through the One Place music stop, I think it is, or the music stand. They've got, I think, 40 different titles. Whereas if you buy them on eBay, you're going to be stuck with 4 or 5 titles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, question, so you make the mouth for the sound, could you just drill out holes all around instead, index holes around?
Yeah.
Would you try that for me? I mean, I don't know. This is how it was demoed to me originally, was cocking the piece of wood. But I said, there's got to be other ways to do it, because I know there are going to be some people who will not want to see that piece of wood wobble because they'll think it's too scary for them. I don't know. But to me, I've been turning long enough that I think I don't get real intimidated by it. And the faster, the easier it is to turn. So any other questions? So one of the things that I was talking about to Alfred about was with the picnic is I had 3 items that I was thinking of doing.
Are you talking about the turnathon now?
Turnathon. So for the turnathon, and so I threw 3 things at him, and we decided on one. And so it's going to be a combination of the music box, which we're not gonna put a music box in, Jeff's candle, and the bowl inside of a bowl, because we're gonna have one of the lips turned a little differently. So keep in mind, you're gonna have a lot of fun with this thing. I'll have one made. No real instructions, but you did know how to tip the piece so you can get the edge a little different. You know how to fit a top on, and you'll be able to fit a tea candle in the lid. So I'm trying to combine this time a bunch of different projects that we've done in the club. Only if you sing and have a microphone.
And bring your guitar.
Yeah.
So any questions? So it's going to be a lot of fun playing with this, and I hope that you enjoy, because I enjoyed doing this. It's
Yeah. Thank you very much for taking.
Well, we want to thank Paul for his demo. We're going to take a 15-minute break, and if anybody wants to get tickets for the wood raffle, see Richard Meganek. He's got the tickets. $1 for one, $5 for six.
there'll be 2 pieces of sycamore out there. I'll have them taped together. They'll be on that table and they've got top and the bottom for the music box. I'll have them over there.
All right.
Warm spot to sit, I gotta tell you. I should not eat before I come over.
If we can get everybody to please take your seats, we'd like to start the meeting again.
Nah, that's okay. Yeah.
So we're going to start out with the President's Challenge, which was the Natural Edge Bowls. We've got a few here. Is everybody that brought in a Natural Edge Bowl? Did you take one of the pink tickets? Well, please come forward. You didn't make one, did you?
Oh, okay.
So it'll be, the last 3 numbers are 650 for whoever did the President's Challenge. Number 650.
Next time you gotta be seated.
We were doing that?
So that's Matt Harbor.
You know, if nothing comes, we're at the sitting down.
Yeah, sitting in quiet.
It was quiet.
Oh, there he is. I didn't see him.
What's it get me, guys?
It gets you.
You have to do a demo.
It gets you a $10 Rockler gift card, which says you're going to go and spend more money than you're going to get.
I understand. So this is like a $50 trip.
Yeah, a $50 gift to you. So now we're going to do the tool review. I brought in, typically you end up using a handheld mask, but I find that I like using my power cap much better. I had a Trend air shield that I found that I didn't wear very much because it was heavy and loud, but when I put this one on, turn it on, it works. I use it. So therefore, it was, I think, about $5.50. and I got it from Peak Safety. They're out of Florida. It's a website. You can buy just the cap, or you can get the cap with replacement filters and the sheet on it. But I like this much better than the Air Trend because it's not as heavy, it's not as loud, and I wear it. So therefore, I'm keeping my lungs safe.
It's okay with glasses.
Oh yeah, and it works fine with glasses. And when I had a beard, it worked fine with my beard.
What's the name? What's company?
It's an air cap active, and the company that I bought it from, the US distributor, this is made in the UK or somewhere over in Europe somewhere. It's Peak Safety, and I really like them. It works. I did find though that when I'm not wearing my headphones or ear protectors, that because this is so tight around, I get wood chips in my ears. But you know,
Yeah. How is the great visibility through there?
the visibility is great.
Looks like it's a small.
What type of charger is provided with the?
This is a lithium ion battery. So battery comes off, you stick it in the charger, plug it into the wall, and it charges it. JSP is the manufacturer, which what that stands for, I don't know.
How long does the battery last?
The battery lasts for 8 hours.
Wow.
I've worn this thing, you know, for as long as I can stand turning, and I haven't wore it down yet.
How much it cost?
It costs about $550. It's a couple $100 more than the Trend Air Shield, but in my personal opinion, it's worth it because I didn't wear the Air Shield, whereas this, I wear it when I'm turning or when I'm standing.
What's the filtration?
The microns, I don't remember. These are just this is not the carbon filters for the vapors. This is just for the sand particulates. So Jeff also had some tools that he wanted to review.
Okay, so I came across these tools on Amazon. They're Chinese, but they're the small mini carbide tools. And I used to have a set that were okay. They were like the Rockler ones, but because they were made on a thin round bar stock, they vibrated a lot, and this caused a lot of tear out and chipping. I just happened to see these. They're made by Vinwalk, which is a Chinese company. But they came in a nice box, and it's the square, the round, and the diamond point tip with the special wrench. It's like 49 bucks. And what I like about them is they got a good beefy 1/2-inch stem on them, so there's no vibration. They cut very easily. They're Chinese cutters, so you know, when they wear out, I won't even bother going to them to replace them. I'll go to Ron Campbell and get good cutters for it. But I don't have the problems I had with the other set because there's not that vibration. And boy, you couldn't argue about the price. You know, unlike a lot of Chinese turning tools, the handles are actually finished. A lot of them don't have a finish on them. So I got that, and I also got the parting tool, which was actually made by a different company. But this is like the Easy Wood tools or the Simple Wood turning tools. And it's a carbide cutter on the end. The whole piece is a replacement piece for when that wears out. I bought the other piece to go with it because a lot of these types of brands and stuff, they'll be on Amazon for a year, then you won't see them again. So, or they'll be under a different name. So, but you know, this works really well. I'm really impressed with this thing. So anyways, that's my tool review. If anybody's interested, I can get you links and stuff for Amazon where they're at. They work really well.
beginners with the phones and stuff.
Mark,
We should.
the website says 0.3 microns.
Okay, so Ben said that the website for Peak Safety said that the JSP power cap filtrates down to 0.3 microns, which is pretty good. So we've done a minute. So now what we want to do is we want to do show and tell. I saw a bunch of nice pulls and nice turnings back there. Those of you that would like to share with us, please go get them and come on up front and let's see what you did for show and tell. Nobody wants to.
They're gonna come up, stand behind here or here.
Stand behind.
They should stay behind the lights, yeah.
All right.
Either that or we move that camera so they can stand there.
I'm not sure which microphone.
Oh,
All right.
I just want to get, so I can get the pictures there put on. I'll put a picture of what that company was on those lathe tools tonight. And some of the music boxes.
All right, I turned mine off.
Okay.
So right back there where I was standing, please.
Okay, first,
Here's the mic. Do I need a mic?
you don't. First off, there are a lot more bowls back there than there are people standing up here. So come on, guys.
Hold that up for a picture.
Okay, the only reason I'm showing this one off is because of the part that I actually had absolutely nothing to do with, which is the wood was absolutely gorgeous. So once again, proving that while a pain to work with, crotchwood is just absolutely amazing outcome. So I don't know. Yes. So, okay.
Okay, hold that down lower, please. Okay.
This is just a cherry bowl, had a dry piece of cherry that I was trying to turn. A lot of cracking. It was probably about this much taller when I first started turning it. Tried to fill the edge in with epoxy. It wasn't really cooperating with me too much. When I flipped it around to do the inside, I decided I didn't like the edge. So that's where the kind of extra rim came from on the outside. Just design opportunity from a piece of wood that was being a little difficult. Thanks.
What finish did you use?
It's walnut oil and then Mylan's friction polish.
Very nice.
Boy, it didn't last very long.
I'm gonna be as long as Paul. Okay, this is basically just a cherry burl. But what I did with this was I put lead in it and melted it with a torch, filled the holes in with lead. And first I tried it that way, then I turned the machine on, and then I had a couple in the ceiling. They just flew out and the lead was so what I did, you're like, when you have a wisdom tooth and it's got all them things going out on it. So I took it and I drilled 4 holes off like north, south, east, and west, and put them in there, and then did well in all the spots up here. I got them going this way, this way, this way. Then I took them and I filed the ones on the outside, took a rasp and knocked them down, and then the end ones I took like a 36 grind and just and ground the lead down, then filed it just like you'd normally do it, and it really comes out cool. And I'm sure everybody's turned at one time or another, had a 22 shell in there or something there, and it just looks kind of neat. So anyhow, I guess here down the line, I'm going to do a demo for the gentleman down here, and you'll let me know. But it'd be a quick one. It won't be probably about 5 or 10 minutes, and I can do the whole thing. So okay, that's all I got. Thank you.
Good job.
Okay.
So here I have a piece of butternut. This is from a crotch piece, and I was trying to get it so that you could see the feathering. started out thicker. I ended up mounting it backwards the way I should have. And I had design opportunities. So this is what I ended up with. And it's got Danish oil on it. And then I buffed it with my buff system. And then for the President's Challenge, this is elm, and it's been twice turned. So, and again, got walnut, or excuse me, Danish oil on it. And then I buffed it on the Beal buffing.
Okay, this is a cherry platter. It's actually choke cherry. And after I turned it, I used I forgot what they call them. It's US Technologies. Who makes those?
Three wing.
Yeah, it's what it is.
Rotary tool.
Rotary tool. Yeah, what it is, it's a triangular bit, but it's got 3 cutting edges, but they're on 3 different planes. So once it turns around, it makes 3 grooves. And that's why there is all these grooves, and they go all the way around like that. They also go from center edge. So I put some lines in here so that it guides me, so that I'm going the way it's supposed to be, and also going this way. And then on the back, I did coves. And when I do coves, I like to do them so they're bigger on the outside. And as they go towards the center, they're smaller. That way your eye is drawn towards the middle. I found that makes a big difference. The way I found out is I did 2 of them, one like this and one equally spaced. This one looked better, so that's why I do them like this now. This piece I got, some people have been asking me if this is a separate piece. No, that's part of it. And these grooves were done with a 3.2. And all I did is I went straight in with a 3.2, and then I used the side of the 3.2 cutter, and you do the angle on one side, angle on the other side, and that's how you form the bead on there. So that 3.2 has a lot of uses. You can do a lot of stuff with it. You can actually form beads pretty easy. Not the big beads, but the smaller ones. It works really good. And that is dyed. So for the President's Challenge, I did this natural edge bowl, and this is choke cherry too. Well, maybe not choke cherry. I think it's just regular cherry. But this one I pierced it, and I used a cheap NSK, not what the dentists use. Those are very high speed, at around 400,000 RPM. I think what we use, they're about $25 from eBay, and yeah, they're really good. It's air turbine. There is not a lot of torque in them because they work with air at around 25-30 psi. So it has to be pretty thin. This is about 100,000, just under 1/8 of an inch. And what's important is the cutter that you use. If you buy cheap cutters like a rate, if you have $200 tool and it's not sharp enough, it's not going to work, right? So it's the cutter, not the tool, that does the job. So if you get the good cutters, there's various manufacturers here in US, and actually they come from Switzerland too, that you can use. And it's not that hard to do. People think it's hard. It's not. It took me about 4 hours to do this. About an hour, I do it by section because I get too tired, and then you get starting making mistakes. So that took about 4 hours to do. But again, with this one, I was able to keep the natural edge on it, and that's all I got.
Thank you for everybody showing us what you've made.